Hi, my name's Colin McMahon. 9 years ago, I fulfilled a lifelong dream and opened my comic book store, Pittsburgh Comics. Since then, it's been great. I've met lots of great people, I've read lots of great books, and I want to share that with you. Welcome to Comics Now. Hi there, welcome to Comics Now for July 2016. July is setting up to be a really fun month. Coming up right away, we have Doctor Who Day on Saturday, July 9th. There's a new Doctor Who book coming out since we haven't had a TV show for a while. So it's Doctor Who versus the Cybermen. And it's going to be a weekly book in July. So the first issue ships Saturday, July 9th. And we're going to have a special, we're going to do double points on everything Doctor Who related from either figures or books or whatever we have. Everything is going to be on sale that day. Also coming up in July, this is the biggie. This is the one everybody's going to be talking about. On Tuesday, July 13th, we're having a Midnight Wake. It's the release of Civil War Volume 2, Number 3, where Marvel has promised us that one of the biggest heroes in the Marvel Universe will fall. So Marvel has decided to do a special midnight release just of this issue and of the new preview book they have talking about the new Marvel Now initiative that's going to be coming out this fall. So come on down. I'll be open from 12 to 1. Find out what happened, who died. Another benefit to this, DC has kind of jumped on the bandwagon like Marvel did back on the Rebirth Party, and they're making all of the DC books that are coming out that Wednesday also available at midnight. So come on out, get your books, save a trip on Wednesday, but be the first to know before it's spoiled online. Also, all month long for July, the special is going to be Image graphic novels. We're going to do double points on Image. Summer's a great time to be reading, and the Image books are really neat stories, lots of stuff that you might not have thought about. It's not necessarily the superhero stories. It's not the next story of Spider-Man or the Avengers. They're a little more personal type stories, little sci-fi, all sorts of different things. Lots of neat stuff to try. So come on down. The neat thing, a lot of their volume 1s are only $10. So come on down, try something, ask for some recommendations. I'll point you in the right direction. So Image graphic novels, double points all July long. So what's new? What's coming? Well, like I said, Civil War Volume 2, Number 3. This is going to be the biggie. They said people are going to be talking about this for years. They say that a lot of times. But hopefully this one is big. This one is exciting. Come on down for the midnight release party for that. A neat one, a little personal to me. Civil War Kingpin number 1 is written by Matthew Rosenberg. Now, I've talked about Matthew a lot. He did We Can Never Go Home from Black Mask Studios, a book that I really like. He's got another one out right now. Number 2 just came out of 4 kids walk into a bank. Neat little story. So he's done a couple things at Marvel, but this is just another one going to get his name out there a little bit more. So I'm hoping this one gives him some real good exposure. The idea behind it is, in a world where they can foresee crimes, you'd assume that no crimes could be committed, but the Kingpin has found a way. And how does he do it? And he's running the underworld as usual. Most of the Marvel books in July are going to be tying into Civil War, so there's not a lot for me to really point out in that regard, because Captain America and Avengers and most of the books are tying in. So it's been good. Civil War's been exciting so far. A lot of the tie-ins have been very good. They've been selling out a little quicker than I expected. So come on down and get them. Some new number 1s that are coming. We have Deadpool and the Mercs for the Money. This is, it was a mini-series. They decided to make it an ongoing with a new number 1. And basically it's Deadpool is leading a team to take out radioactive supervillains. But of course it's Deadpool, and he's not exactly the world's best team leader, and his team isn't the most skilled. So, of course, hijinks will ensue. Silver Surfer number 6 is the 200th issue of Silver Surfer from the very beginning. So it's going to be a big extra-size extravaganza. So if you're a big Silver Surfer fan, hopefully this one should be everything you wanted and more. And also the Doctor Strange Prelude movie coming out this fall. They're going to get there's a 2-issue prelude giving you a lead into the movie, and this way they can have the graphic novel out by the time the movie comes out. DC Comics. Rebirth in June was ridiculous. I ordered what I thought would be months worth of books, 5 and 6 times what books had been selling. DC had made them returnable, so there was really no risk involved with ordering these, and many books I sold out the day they came out. Demand was huge, and satisfaction's been great. People have been coming back for the next issue. They've really been talking up how much they're enjoying the books. One of the best things is Superman is really on people's radar right now, where Superman quite often is an afterthought. Unless it has a really dramatic story, it's kind of, oh, there's Superman. It's not a lot of excitement, but the Action Comics and Superman books right now are really getting a lot of buzz. People are really enjoying them. So second prints are coming in of the books that I sold out of quickly, so if you want to come take a chance on some of these. Books like Green Arrow is probably my favorite, and Green Arrow is not exactly an A-list character, but his book has been fantastic since the rebirth. So we have some more new rebirths coming as well in July. Justice League, that's the biggie. Brian Hitch and Tony Daniel are doing this one, and basically the Justice League is adding 3 new members, including a new Superman. So Justice League is one of those great books because they can do anything with it, so it's always fun to get on right at the beginning to see how it's all getting set up, and that's what the Rebirth books are doing. They're really setting things up, setting the table for the stories. So we have Justice League. Also have Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns. This is Robert Venditti, who's been writing Green Lantern for a long time, and then Ethan Van Sciver, who did Green Lantern for a long time back, and he did the Rebirth book with Jeff Johns back when they brought Hal Jordan back. So in this one, in the absence of the Green Lantern Corps, Sinestro and his fear-inducing Yellow Ring Corps are protecting the universe, and Hal Jordan must use all of his willpower to defeat his greatest foe and restore freedom to the cosmos. So, you know, nothing big going on. A little small personal story there. Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. This is a neat one just for me personally because it's a chance for me to get my daughter into reading comics that she's never showed an interest. Julie and Shannon Benson are the showrunners on The 100 that my daughter loves, and I mentioned that she's doing a Batgirl book, so she's excited about this. So I think this is a good target audience on this one. And basically they're bringing back Oracle, but Oracle is not Batgirl, who Batgirl used to be when she was paralyzed. So we'll see where this one's going. Nightwing is back. Way back in Forever Evil, the Nightwing identity was killed as everyone thought Dick Grayson was dead, and he then became a super spy under the radar. Well, he's back now, and he's going back to Gotham to kind of reclaim his life. It's written by Tim Seeley, who wrote the Grayson books, and Yannick Paquette is drawing it, and he's just fantastic. And basically he's looking to reclaim his life, and of course it's not going to be easy. The Hellblazer Rebirth. Getting John Constantine back to kind of his core. They moved him to America in the last couple series when the TV show was on, trying to match to that, and they've just kind of realized, let's take him back to where it goes. And basically John Constantine returns to London, and only a pissed off demon and a curse on his soul stand in his way of happiness. So things are always going to go well for him. Red Hood and the Outlaws is getting restarted by Scott Lobdell and Dexter Soy. This is an interesting one as well because basically Red Hood is going deep undercover to take down Gotham's crime underground from the inside, and along the way he meets 2 allies. He has Artemis, who is an Amazon warrior, and Bizarro. So basically they're creating the Dark Trinity, where DC's Trinity has always been Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. This is kind of the reverse of that. So this should be, if nothing else, it should be interesting just seeing these 3 characters kind of work together. Then a new book, New Superman. This is by Gene Yun Lang and Victor Bogdanovic. An impulsive act of heroism thrusts an arrogant young man into the limelight as China begins to form its own Justice League. So this is neat. It's a Chinese creator, Gene Yun Lang, who's done a lot of indie stuff, and then he did write Superman for a while. He's basically been given this idea to go and create a brand new character, and so we're going to see a Chinese Justice League, and I think this one has a lot of potential. One of those under-the-radar books that could catch fire really quick. Then we have some just regular #1s are coming out as well. Batgirl #1 is by Hope Larson and Raphael Albuquerque. Raphael Albuquerque did American Vampire, and really, really stunning art. And in this one, Batgirl is leaving Burnside, leaving that part of Gotham, and going global, and going to be doing some international adventures. Titans 1, which is reforming the original Teen Titans team. It's been tied in really well with Rebirth, with spoilers. A big part of Rebirth was Wally West coming back, and he's reforming the Titans, and everybody's starting to remember what the team used to be and what they used to do. So this one is, the Rebirth book was one of the hottest ones, went the quickest. So this one should have some good buzz, and it's, the first one was really good. New one, Batman 66 meets Steed and Mrs. Peel, who are on the TV show The Avengers back in the 60s, but of course they can't call it Batman meets the Avengers because that would cause lawyers to get involved. Flintstones #1. Now I remember when I saw this, I'm like, really? A Flintstones comic? What do we need this for? And then I saw Mark Russell was writing it. Now Mark Russell did Prez, which was a great social and political commentary book. And so now he's taking that attitude and that style to the Flintstones, and it's going to be a satiric, edgy version of the Flintstones. So I think this one has could be a lot of fun. And then another neat one, it's an original graphic novel. It's Arrow the Dark Archer, and the neat thing is it's written by John Barrowman, who plays the Dark Archer, Malcolm Merlyn, on the Arrow TV show. He's also been Captain Jack on Doctor Who and Torchwood, so it should be good, kind of interesting coming from the guy who's playing the character. So that should be fun. Image Comics. Don't know quite what to make of this one. Snot Girl #1, written by Brian Lee O'Malley. Now, Brian Lee O'Malley did Scott Pilgrim, so he has a big following. And basically, it's the story of Lottie Peterson. She's a gorgeous, fun-loving social media star with allergies. So we'll see where this is going. We saw a preview, and basically, yeah, she's got a runny nose. So I'm not sure where this one is exactly going. Throwaways, this sounds interesting. This is Caitlin Kittredge is writing a book about two broken people who are thrown into a conspiracy and have to find their way through it. Kind of feels to me like almost like a Ludlum-esque type premise, which is always fun with people who don't have the skills to be in the situation that they are, but have to find their way through it. Horizon is a story about this girl on this planet, and her planet is being invaded by Earth. So, sci-fi book with an interesting twist. The Hunt is an intense story of survival, a supernatural horror tale that will give Irish mythology a distinctly modern twist. So getting a little bit of horror, which is nice. Image always gives you different things. Like I said, it's not just standard superhero fare or just horror. It's all sorts of stuff. Mechanism is another one coming from Image. And in the aftermath of an alien invasion, a prototype military robot is rushed into the field before it's combat ready. And also then it's interacting with people and learning about people while it's interacting, and how it's going to react because it's not fully developed. Miller World is coming out with an annual, and basically Mark Miller did a big international talent search to find different artists, and this is them writing some short stories of his based on characters you'll know. So this is a good opportunity to find some people that he feels are really worthy of the bigger spotlight. And then the last one is a one-shot called Spawn Kills Everyone, which kind of says it all. Dark Horse, we're finally getting this book. Black Hammer #1 was offered a little while ago. It's a new Jeff Lemire book with Dean Ormston. The artist had some medical problems and wasn't able to bring out the book, so it's been put on hold. But basically it's about this super team who has now been banished from existence by a multi-universal crisis. And they're just working on a farm, and it's an endless, it's like they're stuck in a time loop working on this farm, but of course, because they were heroes, trouble manages to find them. New one called Bounty. This is by Curtis Wiebe, and it's basically just described as Rat Queens meets Firefly. So if you're fans of either of those things, this is probably a good book for you. There's a new Conan book. They keep Conan going now. We're getting to Conan the Slayer, and this is by Cullen Bunn, who I've asked many times if he's trying to write every book on the shelf, because he normally seems to put out 5 or 6 books a month. Gru, there's a new Gru book. Sergio Aragones is doing it with Mark Evanier, also helping him. Gru, Fray of the Gods, if you're a Gru fan. And then this has been called the ultimate sci-fi crossover. It's Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Aliens. So it's kind of incorporating everything you could ask for in a book. IDW is bringing out a personal favorite of mine. They announced this last year at San Diego, and it's finally coming out. And that's ROM with Christos Gage and Chris Ryall. Chris Ryall is the editor-in-chief of IDW and just a huge ROM fan, so he was always talking about it. He did another book called Onyx, which was basically a ROM type book. And so they're doing that. Basically, we've been invaded and only a space knight can save us. So ROM was it was a book back in the 80s. It was a toy based on a toy, and the book lasted much longer than the toy ever did. And it was one that I collected as a kid that I greatly enjoyed. So I'm excited to see it come back. Transformers Titans Return one-shot. Sentinel Prime is back. And then there's a couple neat kid books that are coming out. We have the Powerpuff Girls, a new series of that coming. And then we also have Mickey Mouse Shorts, which is a new book based on some animated shorts that were done. They're doing actually book versions of it. Boom Studios is back. Kong of Skull Island, which is a new King Kong book. There's a new movie coming out, I believe. And James Asmus is writing this. He's done a lot of, he's one of those under-the-radar guys. You don't know him, but you probably read something by him. Sombra is coming out. This is a new one by Justin Jordan. Basically, it's about Mexican drug cartels. And a DEA agent who disappeared in Mexico long ago is now back, and he's basically taking out the cartels. There's a new Adventure Time comic, new #1 coming with that. Garfield Summer Special, and a Peanuts Friends Forever special. Dynamite has got some new ones. Brickleberry, which apparently was a cable TV show. And it's about after an alien cow invasion, a park ranger joins forces with a small group of human rebels. So it sounds pretty silly. There's also doing a Lone Ranger Green Hornet book, because who didn't want to see a team up of those guys? Garth Ennis is back with his Red Team. It's Double Tap Center Mass, which is basically about, I believe, some corrupt cops, or cops who create their own team, and bring back some of the survivors from the first series on that. There's also a new $6 Million Man book. That's been very successful for Dynamite, so I'm happy to see that back. Valiant has a couple new ones. We have a new Faith ongoing. Faith is a member of the Harbinger team, who's just kind of an every woman. She's the first real plus-size superhero with her own insecurities and things about that. So the original 4-issue miniseries was hugely successful, and they're bringing it back now as a new ongoing. That's by Jody Houser and Marguerite Sauvage. And then continuing the 4001 AD storyline, we have Shadow Man, where they're bringing Deadside is rising to help the fight against the father in the 4001 storyline. So that's everything that's going on here in the store and with comics. Come on in, I'll happily recommend stuff for you. There's tons of stuff to read right now. Rebirth is booming, Civil War is exciting, and there's always new stuff from the other publishers. So, as always, you can find me here at the store or find me on the website at pittsburghcomics.com. You can find me on Facebook under Pittsburgh Comics and on Twitter under at PGH Comics. So, if you get a chance, come on by and let's talk some comics. And right now, stay tuned for Comics Previews Theater. Thanks.
Why here? Why now? Are there places where people like us don't exist? Where mad gods don't walk the world and the things we do are just stuff of legends? Of stories? Things from dark places, Olympians, beings that defy logic, defy physics. Come here. Evil powers and people who create weapons that could destroy worlds are born here. Here was where Starro didn't conquer, where Rao's hold over untold billions was broken. Here, Darkseid found no more hunger dogs, only defeat. Against mounting odds and threatened by the worst kinds of evil, we survive. Humanity survives. How? Why here? Why us? Why now? What makes this world special?
What do you mean, Clark? This Earth has been our home for years now. We've been happy raising our son, making a difference where we can.
I know, Lois. This life with you and John has been the greatest wonder of all I've seen. I just can't shake the feeling that there's something more going on here. Something I don't understand yet. We might have ended our lives in the world where we started living them, but we didn't. We're here. So why now? And is all this connected?
To what? His death? This world, Superman?
Maybe. I don't know.
They might.
The League? They were his friends, not mine.
You're this world, Superman now. Maybe you should reach out. After all, it wouldn't be much of a Justice League without a Superman.